One of the things I really wanted to get across in both the music video and the digipack was the subtlety of the images. So the underwater images, like this one, and the river flowing and the trees and sort of the serene feeling of the whole music video and the whole digipack was something that I really focused on, because I wanted the audience to look at both and feel that that was something that they needed, because they needed it for peace and they needed it for escaping, and they needed it and they wanted to listen to it because it was slightly different. A lot of CD covers and music videos as a whole portray the music as very exciting and out there and bold, and as much as I did that in a way that I quickly cutted the music video, and that in the middle of the digipack there is lots of images in one, which does create in a way excitement, but I also wanted to create a place when the audience could escape to, so they would listen to the music, and by looking at the music video and the digipack they would know this. By listening to the music they would have something that they could just escape their lives from. I really like the underwater concept, and I focused on it because firstly I looked at some images that were taken underwater, and you, as looking at these images, you would feel a certain way, like it was very calming and it was very beautiful and it was very stylistic, and I wanted the same portrayal in my digipack, so I chose to use the underwater images that I took, because in the music video there is a sense of loneliness and isolation and wanting to escape and wanting to calm, and at the end of the music video there is a calmness, and the girl finds peace using nature and using just being at one with herself, and I wanted the same feeling to be correlated in the digipack itself. So I really wanted the feeling of just escaping but also drowning, so using it as a metaphor for how her parents make her feel and how her family life makes her feel, but also how she escapes from that, and the positive connotations as well as the negative connotations. So I wanted the audience to look at it and be able to see that obviously being underwater is very claustrophobic and you feel very isolated and you feel like there's nothing you can really do, but also the waves across the collage of photos using different colours also present sort of a wave of life, if that makes any sense, a sort of wave of everything that she's experienced and a wave of everything that she's learned, and a wave of, even if there is bad, which there is presented in the music video, there'll always be good, which is presented at the end of the music video. And I wanted not the audience to necessarily feel that it was a negative album, I wanted them to know that there was meaning behind the album. It wasn't just a pointless collection of songs, there was meaning behind it, but it was also positive in the sense it was a place to escape to, but also that not all the songs will have had such a deep music video as the one that we presented, but the song we felt suited that tone of music video the most well. For the magazine advertisement, I used one of the stronger images from the inside of the collage of a boat dock, which at the sky it is very dark and dim and the clouds are very black, but whereas there is a gap where the sky is very light and then the sea is very light, and the bows are often white or dark, and it's got the same sort of colours as we went for in the music video of light and dark and what they represent and everything. And I also like the idea that a boat dock is very sort of quiet and nice and natural, and there's no sort of corruption in it. It is just very simple. The correlation between the music video and the digipack was sort of the use of white and the use of calming colours. For example, in the music video we did use black and white, so which meant that any white present in the music video stood out even more, and you were more able to notice it as an audience. So the audience would look at a certain scene and there was a lot of shadowing and there was a lot of underexposure, so it seemed really dark, which matched the tone of the music video that we aimed for. but also when the girl was wearing white and when there was a lot of white against darkness, you could see it more clearly, because obviously white connotates a lot of things, a lot of purity and innocence and sort of heavenly, and we wanted to present the young girl as sort of angelic. And in the digipack I carried this through because I wanted the underwater concept to still link to the music video. So she was wearing a white sort of dress draped on her on the back of the digipack, because I wanted to sort of show that she was draped in that like same purity and the same innocence and the same sort of unexperienced young girl still learning how to live her life. Which links between our music video and the digipack I created is the use of sort of a feeling of nostalgia, the waves and the nature and the young girl dressed in white. It's very reminiscent of a childhood, so even if indie pop fans were older than the girl represented in the music video, they would be able to look at the music video and understand that it is sometimes difficult in a home life and in life as a child, and be able to relate to it and relate to sort of difficulties. And when you watch a music video or see a poster which appeals to you in that way that you can link to, it becomes more appealing. The album, you want to listen to the music more because it becomes evident that they know how you felt at one point in your life. I think that both the music video and the digipack appeal to the audience because of the stylistic approach they took with it. I think that it is quite unusual for an artist's brand to be represented in the way that it has been. You don't usually get music videos with such a deep meaning, for example, and you don't obviously usually see sort of boats on a poster for a music video, but it is very conventional of indie pop to go against convention and to sort of aim for their audience in a way that they appeal to their intellectual needs and the need to escape and everything, more than necessarily voyeurism and things like that. The innocence of the young girl and the darkness of the family that surrounds her link to it quite well. Sort of the classic representation of good and bad, but in quite a dramatic way, in the sense that we use black and white in our music video to sort of highlight where her life was bad and negative and wrong and dark, and where she didn't feel at home at all, and where she did feel at home, and where she got to escape to and everything. And we use that in our magazine cover as well, because we wanted that same sort of escapism, so highlight the darkness, because I think that the most interesting music videos and music sort of representations and brands of artists are those when they're not represented as perfect, and they sing about things that matter, and their music videos and their advertisements highlight what is not so good in the world. And even though this is just a simple boat dock, it can be a representation of the artist as a whole, and it is. That they don't just sing about anything and like fluffy subjects and whatever. Their music video features abuse from the parents, and that is something that we explored, which is not conventionally explored. We wanted the artwork around the digipack to also reflect this, like the underwater girls and the sort of collage of waves and the boat dock. It isn't something you find across in a normal sort of representation of a music video or an artist. I think that collectively both the digipack and the music video present the artist in the way that I wanted them to, because you have got the side that presents the meaning and the depth of a song, and it focuses on certain lyrics, and it makes the artist seem very intelligent in the approach, because the music video isn't necessarily like, it doesn't follow different conventions that would make the artist seem less intellectual. So for example, there is no dancing girls, and it has a narrative. A lot of music videos don't really focus on the narrative, they focus on things that will appeal to a male demographic, for example, whereas ours doesn't. Obviously the girl is so young, and it appeals more to the indie pop target audience that we wanted it to, because of the sort of ways it goes about things. The music video focuses on the stylistic approach. It focuses on creating a meaning behind the song, therefore being able to sell the song more well, because the audience would look at it and say that they have taken a song, they've taken different lyrics of it, they've taken the beat, they've applied a narrative to it, which isn't necessarily found anywhere, which suggests that the artist has created an album which is slightly unique and creative, and that would appeal to most audiences, in particular indie pop. Whereas the digipack focuses more on stylistic shots that are filled with interesting colours. Often I've tinted them blue in most, especially with the collage, because they were a lot of different colours and I had to have it correlate the whole way through the digipack. But with the digipack, you'd pick up the CD cover and you'd see that it's a different style, but at the same time it's recognisable. Like Nirvana used a lot of underwater imagery in their album, and that sort of approach is used. However, there's a different spin on it, like the collage with the wave. It's unique in its own way, therefore it would appeal to the audience. They would recognise it as sort of a convention, because a lot of underwater photography has sort of taken the media by storm recently. A lot of fashion photographers have used underwater photography, but with this, there is a slight murkiness to it. There's a slight imperfection, like the ripples where the girl is reflected in the water is unique. She is half underwater and half not, which connotates like not being able to breathe and being stuck in a certain place, which fashion photography obviously does not aim for. And at the same time, the photo on the back of the girl fully underwater, it suggests that the album explores this idea of claustrophobia and being isolated and being alone. But at the same time, it's quite exciting, the thrill of being underwater, the thrill of not knowing what's going to happen, the thrill of being on your own and having to fight it out, sort of thing.